I've been playing Marvel Rivals since the beta, and I've also been reading Marvel Comics since I was a kid. I'm trying out a new format. Usually I would wait until I get a haircut to do that, but there's no such time like the present. A lot of people do not like reading comics or don't even know where to start reading comics. So I want to make this video as a primer of sorts. I'm planning on making a bunch of other content on comics, both specifically, but also how to read them and get into them. And just because I'm talking about Marvel Rivals in this video, and by extension Marvel Comics, this can also apply to DC as well as some other comics down the line. Step number 1, pick a character that you actually play. Reason why is because you like that character already. You kind of understand how they move, you kind of understand how they look, you kind of understand their dialogue, their personality, their presentation. There might be some lore drops here and there you might be interested in. Like, I was playing Marvel Rivals quick play with somebody, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that Black Cat and Spider-Man had a thing." Me, as a lifelong Marvel fan, already knew that. It's common knowledge, and it's just to be expected they're going to talk about it. Some people might not even know what that is, and the reason why is because that's not really something that's covered in a lot of media that most people would watch nowadays. But I'm getting way too ahead of myself. Just step 1, pick a character that you already like and you already play. For this video, I'll be picking Daredevil. 1, he's one of my favorite Marvel characters, has been for a long time. 2, there's a new Daredevil show coming out and is already out, Born Again Season 2, which, by the way, slight spoilers aside, no, I'm not gonna spoil the video. I'm gonna just tell you the show is really, really good. It does capture the spirit of both Netflix Daredevil and just normal Daredevil as a whole. Not everything is perfect, but what in life is. So that's why we're going to be using Daredevil, as well as the fact that they have a skin in the game based on Season 2 Born Again, which is a skin that, at least compared to the other skins in Marvel Rivals, is very similar to his comic book costume anyway. So it's kind of like a double, triple whammy sort of thing, right? So let's just say that I'm playing Daredevil, and I've already read a couple of his comics, some because of Marvel Rivals, a lot of them not, and I want to get into Marvel Comics, right? What do? There's a couple different ways that I would recommend. You could do by the issue, like you literally start at any issue 1. You could start by going by the run or by the story arc. For example, you could do the Game War story arc. You could do the Last Right story arc. You could do the Shadowland story arc. You could do the whatever story arc, right? You could do by writer or artist. Let's say you want to read the Frank Miller written books or the Frank Miller drawn books. You could start that way. Let's say you want to do the Chip Zdarsky written run. You could do that. You want to do the ones that are drawn by John Romita Jr. You could do that, right? You could also do what are the best comics or best storylines for said character. So again, for Daredevil, type in top 10 best Daredevil comics or best Daredevil storylines, or what is the most essential Daredevil stories? They're going to give you a list. You can pick from that list. Okay. The next one is you could do a mini series, you could do a one shot, or you could do a graphic novel. Again, Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, really good example of this. You could do, it's 5 issues. It's a collected story. It has good writing, good art. It's a perfect jumping in point, and it's the origin story that's going to be used a lot going forward compared to what was before. We already covered Man Without Fear. That works perfect here. You could look and see what storylines were adapted in the Daredevil Netflix series or Born Again. Matter of fact, there's another one. You could read Daredevil Born Again. Sidebar, what happens in the book is not exactly what happens in the show Born Again, but I don't want to spoil it just in case anybody hasn't seen Born Again or seen Daredevil season 1 through 3 or hasn't read the book. Just know, that's another video I'll be making, that sometimes what's adapted is not exactly what's on screen, which, depending on who you are, is a blessing and a curse, or both. Last thing you could do, well, second to last thing, sorry, is the beginning of the character. So example, in the first part, I said you could just pick any number 1 and go for it, right? You could do number 1 in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, pick a volume, pick number 1, go for it. But this one, it literally says, or I tell you, to go from Daredevil 1964 issue 1, which is a valid way to do it. I will tell you this though, a lot of times the character's first issue 1 is not going to be exactly how the character operates in 2026, or a lot of the vibes or the writing style or the character personalities or the side characters or all that, those might not translate very well, both, you know, just, ooh, I don't like the way they talked or they acted back then, but also the characters might not just be written that same way anymore. So it's a toss up. I'm saying you can read issue 1, just know that it might not always be the same character that you're reading in 2026 as it would be in 1964, 1939, 1965. You get the idea. Now, the last one is going to be, you could do it by trade paperback or by omnibus, which is essentially you take a bunch of single issues and you put them together in a collected book format. If you've ever been to Barnes and Noble or Borders, rest in peace, you've probably seen those there. If you go to the library or you have a local library that has a comic book section, 9 to 10 out of 10 times, it's probably going to be a collection of graphic novels or trade paperbacks on a shelf that you can literally check out, boom. And it's also very similar to how the manga format is as well. I'll be making another video on that soon. So I kind of gave you all the examples using Daredevil. Just to go back through them again, you can start with issue 1. You can start with issue 1, 1964. You could do a particular storyline like Man Without Fear, which is also a one-shot or a mini-series that kind of has some connections. You pick the artists themselves. So you want to do John Romita Jr., you could do Frank Miller, you could do, or you can go by writer, Frank Miller, Brian Michael Bendis, and Nasani. Cool, I don't know if I pronounced her last name right. You could also do looking up the issues. Best issue of Daredevil, best storylines of Daredevil, or insert character here. Also, as I said earlier, a lot of these methods work for Marvel and DC. So you could also find the collected versions. Like I said, trade paperback, go for Daredevil Masterworks Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, or you could do Daredevil Frank Miller Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Daredevil insert storyline here, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. They kind of write stories that way on purpose now. And then the last thing I was going to say is that my personal recommended way, you know what, I'm going to save that answer for when I talk about the different types of comics. But because I said it, I'll spoil it now. I would recommend trade paperbacks as probably the simplest and the most accessible way for new readers to get into these new stories, or I guess stories that are new for you. Second place would probably be getting it on the app, like getting Marvel Unlimited or DC Universe Online. However, that comes with some pros and cons that I will cover in the next video. So with that being said, if you want to see me break down this strategy in more detail, whether it's by company, like similar to what I did now, or by character like Daredevil or Spider-Man or Wolverine specifically, let me know in the comment section below and I'll get to that. Again, I'm trying out a new format. Let me know if you prefer where I do this, where I talk to the camera and have B-roll on top of it, or if you just like me talking to the mic and there's no me involved. It's just all B-roll. Anyway, with that being said, Alex Lovehall, the Fighting Gamer. I'll catch you on the next video.